All right, greetings everybody. I decided to play the $15 Sunday tournament. Today was my birthday actually, and a little how do I put this? Um, yeah, I actually thought this tournament was yesterday. I had a free day yesterday, and I thought I would. My girlfriend was working, fiance. That I thought I'd play the tournament, and then we'd hang out afterward because I would be free, and then we'd go out to dinner. But imagine my surprise! I then realized I signed up for Sunday, and today was my birthday. So I'm supposed to be running a game now, but we actually had to cancel it because I knew in addition blah 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 that I would be exhausted and from the birthday stuff. Anyway, long way of saying this is a 4 round tournament. I made a decision to take a bye in the first round, so I didn't have to wake up at like 9 a.m. And yeah, I played 3 games. I had a not a difficult but an interesting decision. There was a open section and then a U 1800. And I'm in just a weird spot. Everybody in the open is higher rated than me, and like everyone in the U 1800 is lower rated than me. So I was like, do I play up and play against better players and probably won't do that well, or do I play down and hope that I do well and hopefully get some wins under my belt? I don't want to say I flipped a coin. I didn't. I had kind of gotten beat around the last week. Remember in the quad where I went 0-3. So I thought, you know what? Even if I play against weaker players, I wanna get some wins just to get back in the W column. So I decided to play the lower group. I am fine with that, especially because in my experience, as you'll see tonight, I played like someone I think it was 1,000, 1,300, and 1,250 or 1,300 or something. So like the average rating was kind of like on the lower side, but everyone kind of is competitive is probably the way I'd say it. Now, the format for this, because it's a Sunday tournament, all the games start late. Unfortunately, it's only 60 minutes, so it's actually not that much time. I know 60 minutes is still a lot of time, but compare that to Tuesday night where you have like 50% more. I really did felt rushed at times. So yeah, all right. So I show up at like 12:30. The round doesn't start till 12:40. Actually, I was late. I was there at 12:36 or something, and I still had 5 minutes to spare, which is nice. And excuse me for names, but I was playing against Adhirit Praghuji for my first game. I'm probably mispronouncing his name. Big time apologies. Seemed like a teenager or so. He seemed like decent. There wasn't really any foible. I think at some point he was like shuffling around, so I like concerned. I asked him if he was like feeling okay. He was like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I just do this." So I don't know if that was like a nervous tick or whatnot. But yeah, all right. So I get the white pieces. I get a bye in the first round, so I get 0.5 points, and he lost in the first round. So I was like, all right, great. And his rating actually is 1296, so we'll say 1300. He responds with d5, and then I've been playing some ready, and I decided I was just going to transpose into like a Queen's Gambit because I know that back and forth, and this is a fine line to kind of get into it with that way. He plays Knight c6, which already is fine. I play c4. It's the best move. He plays knight f6. All this is pretty normal. I'm gonna stop when I think something is off, and yeah, it looks like something is off here because I actually should just take the pawn right away. I didn't do that. I wonder why taking the pawn is so good. Well, I prepared to take the pawn with knight c3 with the idea that I'm gonna take it next turn. But it's a miss. Why is this good as far as an opening? And he takes... Oh, this lets me play e4 with tempo. Oh, that makes sense. And then you already have like the strong center, and if he does that, you're already ready to push on him. Okay. This is actually also why like some people's advice, very strong players, say don't even like learn openings necessarily. Just learn like principles. And then you can kind of play your way into it. Because that makes a lot of sense. I actually should have seen that. Because basically I want the center... I want to be able to play e4, and if I can get that position with take, then I'm able to drive e4. All right, well, whatever. I actually probably should have spawned that. For the record, I didn't sleep very much at all last night. Sleep has been a problem. Not worth getting into the why, but there is a sad reason for the why. But nonetheless, all right, and then he plays g6. I play bishop f4. I still can just take with the idea of then being able to push, but I developed the bishop first. It's the fourth best move, so I guess it's still fine. Yeah, the idea here, well, as you can see, I developed a bishop. He plays. I'm thinking about tactics, kind of old school, jumping my knight in for this fork. Obviously, I'm trying to get into. I actually wanted him to take so that I could then play e4. That's kind of what I was going in. That's almost the Catalan ideas. But nonetheless, he takes away playing a6, and now when he plays a6, now I think I say, oh, I can win a pawn here, and I recognize this. And I spent like 5 minutes. He was blitzing his moves, and I calculated takes, 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 and I thought, that's got to be good for me. I'm just up a clear pawn, because then I don't have to worry about this pawn. Then I can play e4. My bishop is a little bit stranded, but as you can tell, none of the moves are kind of suggested. So I think about it. I calculate. I decide I'm going to, calculate a little bit more in the opening, kind of like look for the opportunity. I think about it. I realize that that's probably pretty good. I'm just going to be up a pawn. As it turns out, my calculations are good, but the evaluation is wrong. No, this is not good for white, which is crazy town to me. I don't get it. I don't get it. Anyway, he plays knight takes d5, and as you can tell, knight takes d5 and taking the pawn is not up there. So I calculated right. The computer just wants to play back and just play this position with the isolated pawn, and this is like the typical advantage that you see, kind of like QGD setups, where he's going to get his fianchetto bishop, have the diagonal. And I'm going to be looking to play e4. Basically, I get my bishop to safety, and then I look to build the center and just play from that position. Probably queen to c2, but sometimes queen to e2, depending. Possibly pushing h4 if I don't castle to break down, attack the fianchetto. Possibly not. I obviously don't have the pin because it's taken away by this, so my bishop probably is supposed to live on d3. And that's probably where I want to put my pieces. Nonetheless, I get greedy, and I see a pawn, and I thought that it was reasonable, but it's funny. And I was texting my friend Ryan. This is just not that good for me. My calculations are all correct, but my execution is poor. This is not something I normally would go for. But again, I'm trying slightly new opening strategies, and I decided, hey, he's 1300. I probably am a little better, and hey, if I can just seize the advantage in the early game, then I should do that. But it's really funny if you look at it. Even though I'm up a pawn, according to the computer, I'm just like, I no longer have a better position. So it is funny. I took a while. I did calculate that the pawn was pretty safe, but it's not even good. And the reason why is it's probable that he can maybe put a lot of pressure, and he might have some like forks here and whatnot. So I might be in trouble there. All right. It is, as they say, what it is. Anyway, once I took on c7, he now plays bishop g7. So he's kind of ignoring the fact he's down a pawn. He gives the advantage right back, for the record. I think he should go right. He should be punishing it right away. And that is the way. Although, is this even so bad? They want me to push. What if I take? Oh. Yeah. And then I have to do like knight d2. Yeah, this would be pretty gross for me, wouldn't it? Then I play e3. And then he castles. And then from here, what is the move? I want to bounce that back. A to c8. All right, well, pretty interesting. The computer basically recommends giving the pawn back. So, all right, none of that happened. Hopefully, it's not going to be lost in the sauce of my computer. He castles, and then just again, I'm back to winning. Or at least ahead. As soon as he does that, I realize I can lock up the center with e3. Typical idea here. Then I have the pawn chain. I'm preparing my bishop, probably not out there, probably to there, and then I'm going to be able to castle. And then if I can retrieve my bishop, then I'm just going to be up at a pawn, and it seems pretty decent. His only real threat is he's got this long diagonal, but if I can, do something like that or like that, then I'm totally safe. So, not spending too much time. I feel like this looks pretty safe. I kind of run it through the checks. I play e3, and I breathe a sigh of relief, and I thought, all right, my position's really good, and, let's just cruise and let's win this tournament. Like, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. He plays bishop f5, and I then regretted, to a small extent, not having my bishop there already, because this seems like a pretty good place to be. And, and here I make a blunder. So, What would be a Saturday or Sunday tournament without making like a measly blunder? When he plays the bishop here, I know I need to get my light square bishop out so I can castle. Because again, once I reach my harmony, which with a castled king, I should be better. And I think to myself, well, I can't play here. I obviously don't want to sack. I can't play here. Do I play there? Is that too passive? Oh, what if I just take that away? I force him to trade, and then I trade, and then boom, like easy. All is good. Then I have an active queen, kind of where I want it, and and like then I can look to put my rook on the on the open file, etc., etc. All right, so all that's going through my mind, but I missed the very obvious idea, and the computer immediately flags this as a blunder, and I think this is a blunder. I play this, and without thinking much, he just takes, and I realize, oh shit, it's too late now. And the reason why is I didn't see this then because I wasn't really spending that much time calculating. Big mistake. I tried to kind of auto-zone it too much. They actually want to go c8 first. Is he plays e5. Okay, so apparently this gives back the advantage. I thought that he plays that and then that move. But apparently it's stronger if you go this right away because then you're threatening the forks. Because then you go something like this. And then knight to b4, attacking here and attacking there. So what would I even do? Yeah, I would play here. God, this looks terrible, huh? And it's like a check, e2, takes, 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 takes. Yeah, and this position looks garbage. He would probably do something like this, to be honest. Yeah. And look at that. I would just be down the exchange. For some reason, why is this not better for him? How am I possibly better here? I don't understand chess. If I do something like this, apparently the position's even. Despite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, this is what I don't understand. If you showed me this game or this layout, I would say, oh yeah, I'd say, oh yeah, black is better. But I guess because I kind of have his rook trapped. Ah, I see. So maybe I would have found this actually if this happened in this case. So it'd be like take, 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 and then here. Yeah, and this is just a totally even endgame. In theory, black is slightly better because he's got the connected pawns, and I've got 3 pawn islands, and he has only 2. But that's such a marginal advantage that at this level, I don't think that matters. All right, well, nonetheless, he plays e5, and I realize, obviously, he's threatening to fork my pieces with e4. I can't take, I'm pinned, because then I lose my queen. I can't take because I calculated all the trades. If we all trade everything, I still lose my queen or a piece. So it meant I have to move one of these 2 pieces. The computer says I can just play to a3, give back the pawn, takes, takes, probably takes, maybe takes, something like that. He'd probably take with the queen, threatening the b2 pawn. And I thought if I opened up my king without having castle with all the pieces trading in the middle of the board, I thought there was no way I could be better. What's funny is I am, actually, if all the explosions happen. So I calculate, I think, all right, if I'm going to give back the pawn, then maybe I can move my queen here. It forces the trade, takes, follow along, and then he takes, and then I'm in a position where he'd have this isolated pawn I could push, and then I thought in that endgame, I'd have the connected pawns, he'd have the pawn islands, so I thought in the endgame, I'm giving back the pawn, but I'd be better. But this is just simply not the case. So I play my queen out here, and again, this is a game that I just didn't play that well, I guess. He very quickly trades, I trade, and then he takes the pawn. So now if you calculate pawns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's won his pawn back. And I think to myself, okay, like, this should be fine. I calculated if I take, that's a problem, because take, 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 take. He's immediately going to win this pawn again, and then he's going to be up a pawn, and I have this shitty isolated pawn. And I'm surprised that my move is so bad. I did calculate castling. I thought if I queenside castle, which is the best move, there were some lines where my bishop would get pinned to my king. And I thought if I castle here, then he would then trade. I would trade, and then he would win a pawn. And I thought this was like a decent pawn. It would be good for him. So I played e4. And again, I'm just really surprised that the computer says this is so bad for me, because in my eyes, it's an even pawn. It's even in pawns, and I have a fewer pawn islands. So I thought that this is kind of like a comfy endgame. I wasn't sure how bad these doubled pawns were, but I thought that I'd be the one to make use of the open files. Maybe. Like if I can basically castle and then put my rook on the c1 square. So anyway, that's kind of what was going through my head. I'm definitely playing a bit more on intuition. I calculated the winning the pawn. I didn't see the e4 push in time. So I'm just not playing great. Anyway, so we arrive at this position, and once e4 is played, he then kind of just shrugs and castles, and it seems like his rooks are going to be coming in. He does have this passer. It's a pass pawn, because I have no pawn that can attack it. So, yeah, so I feel like, all right, the game is I'm playing against an isolated pawn, and, yeah, like, let's go. I castle, which is the best move. Nice. It looks like at least I played one best move. And then he immediately starts, chugging. He attacks the pawn. In my ideal setup, I either have a pawn on e5 and f4, because then it makes his bishop, it kind of blocks his bishop in, or I swing my knight out and I push to f3, and then they're on light squares, and I'm playing with the light squares against his dark square bishop. And I thought if my knight jumps to here, obviously I'm temporarily defending the e4 pawn, but I have a really good square, an outpost, on c4. Again, it's on a light square, so it's good against his bishop, and I've got potential jumps. So, again, this is kind of like in the game. I'm surprised that the computer says I have a worse position, because I felt that this was... I felt like I didn't break stride. I was like, all right, whatevs. And I felt like this is the natural move. But unfortunately, it's the natural move, but it's naturally bad. The computer wants me to play rook to fe1, which I don't understand. I'm going to be honest. To me, I feel like that could be trouble. Like if he reroutes the bishop, it's in different lines, it's under attack. I still have this problem with the knight is kind of blocking in the f-pawn that I do think needs to be pushed. So yeah, that's just one of those things that I don't understand, because logically my move is better, but objectively it's not. I mean, look at the computer. The computer knows all. Computer will tell you what the evaluation is, not why it's that way. So, all right. Nonetheless, I play the knight out here. He now moves his other rook in, rook a to c8. He's now been the one to claim the file, which is kind of a bummer. And I started thinking, okay, do I want to move here? I said, not really, because I think that he can just attack it. And I think with past pawns, you want a rook behind it. So I think he kind of made a slight mistake by not kind of having a rook to kind of shovel it down the board. So I don't want to give him the option to just attack it. I also don't really have anywhere I'm necessarily running. There's no scope on a3. So I thought, how valuable is this diagonal? And I thought not that valuable. What I thought is I wanted on b6, because then I'm attacking the d4 pawn. And if I can, and again, protect the pawn, get the rook under here, maybe something like this, then boom, I can gang up on the isolated pawn and win it. And then thought in that position, if I can move my king in, then I thought I had a comfortable endgame and I probably would be winning. So again, it blows my mind that I'm worse here, because I still thought... I mean, this is just maybe my optimism. I thought I was better here, yeah. I was like, yeah, I'm outplaying my opponent. As it turns out, my opponent is outplaying me. He immediately goes knight b4, and I didn't exactly see what he's planning with this move. It looks like, he's kind of owning the file, but I thought once I slam my knight on c4, which makes a lot of sense to me, I'm sealing off his rook. My knight is doing a lot of work. It would be protecting my b6 bishop. Technically, it's protecting the b2 pawn. And I just didn't really see what jumps he had. Like here, I can just move. Here, again, I'm still defending this pawn. So I just didn't see it. You know what I mean? I didn't get it. To me, I locked everything up, and yeah, life is good. Computer wants me to go rook e6, maybe to gang up here, maybe to just gang up on the pawn this way. I think I would still play f3 there. Obviously, they're looking for the f5, to just trade everything or come into the second row, which I guess makes sense. But he kind of uses the wrong rook. He plays rook c6. He's not attacking this because I'm defending it. Obviously, I'd gladly give him the exchange. And here is a case where I think, was it in this position? Yeah, when I'm here, where I guess I got a little too tricky. And I mean, as it turns out, I'm not even better, so it doesn't really matter. Oh no, this is not a case where I'm tricky. The computer wants me to play e5, which is what I consider. For the record, I played f3, which was my plan. I'm surprised this is such a bad move, because I thought I was locking everything up on the light squares, kind of neutering his bishop. Everything is held, he can't make any progress, and I didn't really see where his jumps were going. So I'm just losing here, which is very surprising. They want me to play e5, and I did see this line, which I thought basically involved trading everything, and but I didn't understand why I would want this. I mean, this is what I saw. I saw this. I thought I would go here, and then I thought basically they want to take on b6. I thought that he would probably take on e5, and then I saw this, and I thought this was decent for me. Well, decent being we're even on pawns. His rooks are a little discombobulated. I can maybe lock up everything here, and then just bring him into the game. I don't know. This looked dead even. And again, you have to understand in my mind, I thought once I locked this up, I thought I was better. So I didn't want to go into... I didn't want to give back the... I didn't want to trade the pawn there. I mean, it's a good thing maybe I didn't go into that, because he doesn't have to take the knight. He can actually take the bishop. And this is worse for me. Obviously, I could maybe go, here to here? I don't know. No, it would probably be this jump with the idea of maybe finding a way to... I don't know. All right. Whatever, this didn't happen. I didn't go into that, so that's thankful, because that would have just been even worse for me. But anyway, I play f3. In this position, f3, he plays knight to b3. So if he finally... What? No, knight to d3. So he finally moves the knight, and I'm not fully understanding it, actually. And in fact, now I really wonder, because my knight is defending this pawn, why I did what I did. Was I seeing ghosts? Why the hell did I play this next move? I have no idea. To me, the obvious move is rook f to b1. Rook f to d1? What? I am confused. I'm confusing myself. I didn't think there was anywhere for me to come in, but maybe I actually could swing a5 with the idea of planting it on d5. Maybe that's interesting. But I play rook a2, and again, I'm looking at this thinking, what the hell am I thinking? Because I'm already defending the square. Maybe I wanted to free up my knight, but I'm never freeing up my knight when it's tied down to defending my bishop. So I don't know what I'm thinking there. I really wish I could roll back and think about what was in my brain, because that's just a bad move. All right, well, in any event, he plays knight to c5, and unfortunately, when he plays knight to c5, I realize I can't avoid trading. Apparently, this move is okay. Why is that okay? That doesn't make any sense. I'll just say I took. Is my analysis terrible this game so far? It feels like it is. How is this okay? Can he just take? What's the follow-up here? Oh, you just give the knight for the knight. That's all there is to it. All right. Yeah, and again, here in this position, I feel like he's better, because he might push behind and just, start gunning. And then if I distract my rook, because it's in such a terrible position, once he pushes it, he will win the pawn. Now, I don't think that's necessarily a one endgame, but there's no way I can be better, especially because then he's taking away the a1 square, and I have no way of swinging my rook over. All right. Let me just give it a little heart. It's a player who might be joining the Sunday game. He used to be in it. All right. Ignore all that. Nonetheless, I do trade. I thought that was the only line. Obviously, he takes back with the rook. And in this position, I still thought that I was doing well. Man, what the hell is wrong with me? Like, why did I possibly think this is good for me? All right, well, at least I finally played the best move. I decide that I can't let him just push the pawn. My rook, now that f3 is defending e4, like it's kind of locked up. I want to get this rook into the game. I don't ever want to pin myself because if I ever go to c1, boom, he plays b5 and I'm going to lose my piece. So the only active square, and obviously it's dead on a1 because I'm just running into a pawn. So I thought the only active square is on d1. So by process of elimination, I'm glad that it is in fact the best move. I'm doing something. I'm attacking the pawn, and if I can ever reroute my my bishop, like I was looking at different jumps, like I think here to here or something, and I was looking at here to here, with the idea of blocking again the rooks from supporting it, things like that. But all right. So I play rook d1. It is the best move. That's a relief. And my opponent plays rook e7, which I thought was actually a decent move. Now, computer says it's now back to close to even. He's kind of messing it up a bit. But I thought that this was a nice prophylactic move because, again, one of my ideas is to like jump to a5 to attack the pawn. Because if I can ever win either like this pawn, then this falls very quickly, and then I'm clearly better. Another thing I do want to do is play pawn takes, but or push my pawn, because my thinking, of course, if I push my pawn here and he like takes, then I can take the pawn, and that's the scary pawn in this position. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not. My plans are not great here, I guess. Anyway, he plays rook e7. I look at the position. I do play the best move. That's relief. And I say to myself, okay, what exactly is my worst piece in this position? And I looked at my dumbass rook that I put on a2 for whatever reason. And I said, what the hell? And I said, you know what? Let's just trade it off. And I saw if I play it at a4, it doesn't work, because obviously he has this tactic. And even if I swing then up to pin it, I still think that I'm just like losing material. But if I play here, if he ever like backs and like gets my rook into the game, that's exactly where I want it, and I think I'm better. So I think it forces the trade. And if he does something like pushes the pawn, then I'll just attack. Yes, he can attack there, but then I'll basically have this isolated pawn on the edge of the board that'll be very easy for me to round up to, or it'll kind of tie his rook down. So I thought, all right, I can probably trade off my my piece here, my worst piece for a pretty useful piece, and the computer does like my plan. So patting myself on the back, every so often, good moves are played. It's interesting. They actually think that dropping to c6 is better than trading, but he doesn't think for very long. And in the analysis after the game, he said, "Yeah, it was even, but it puts your knight in a weird spot." And I said, "That doesn't really though. I don't know." Anyway, so he takes. Obviously, only move. I take back with the knight. Pretty clear cut. Easy peasy. Lemon squeezy. And we just have this position, and it felt very equal to me. So what happens here? What happens here? What happens in this game? Something definitely happens. All right. I take in a5. He plays rook d7. I think this is correct because he now basically wants to push the pawn. And I'm kind of at a loss. I think to myself, all right, I got to get my king into the game somehow. I want to blockade this pawn, but I didn't think I want to blockade it with a rook. I thought that would be incorrect. The computer is calling for c4, but I was always a little bit worried about different pins and then him coming in that way and then bouncing my knight, not to there because then it would be taken, and then claiming the second file, and I thought I was worse in those endgames. So, so instead, I play Instead I make an active plan, and I think this is bad. I think the computer's going to hate this. But I say, all right, e4 is no longer under pressure. Can I just play f4? And my idea of f4, okay, the move is not that bad. It's an inaccuracy, which I understand, is I thought if I can lock down e5, I'm now deflecting his defender, and now I can actually round up on his d4 pawn. Because basically, in this game, if the d4 pawn falls, I'm better. If he pushes it, I lose. And that's kind of like the game here. Given it's -1, black is more likely to be able to accomplish what he wants than what I want. But that was my idea with f4. It also gives me a way to come in with the king. So that was what I was thinking with that move. All right. He plays h6, which I think is a very slow response. Already, game is back to even. He wants to kind of like push and kind of break up the pawns that way. Um, and I thought I could just ignore that. And it looks like, according to the computer, I was right to. I ignored it. Great. All right. I then play King F2, which is in fact the best move. And yeah, lo and behold, I mean, if you look at the results here, it's dead even now. I thought I could fight in this position for a win. Again, if I can, my ideal situation is if I can block in his bishop with e5, I can then run my king in. I then win this pawn. He trades, I trade, and I have a more active king. His bishop doesn't have many targets. He's got a couple. Ideally, I would then move my pawns to light squares, and I would go from there. So that's kind of like my dream situation. So I just needed to maneuver my pieces. Time for both players was kind of irrelevant. We both were moving, we only had an hour each, but we were both moving relatively fast. So I don't even really remember. All right, anyway, he plays g5. And according to the computer, I should just trade? Or no, I should play g3. All right, cool. I played the best move. I looked at that, and I thought to myself, do I want to attack? And I said, no, because then it puts his pawns together, and then he has the pawn island, whereas all my pawns are kind of like, split. And I thought there was no way I could be better. And I thought if I just played the quiet move of g3, if he ever trades and then I trade back, then I'm clearly better. He's got all these scattered pawns. I have the connected big boys. And I can move my king in behind, and I can accomplish harmony. So, yeah, the game is turning around. Things are looking good. He now goes bishop to f8, which I think is a good move. I don't think the computer loves it for him, but I think it's a good move because, oh, look, I'm already better in this position. I've already come back, guys, and I'm already better. And it's pretty clear. He's trying to nuzzle his bishop in here. And then obviously try to push this pawn. So... yeah, so I think to myself, and like this is where I make a massive mistake. Just a massive, massive mistake. The easy move is to play knight to c4. It's what I should have played, and I'm slightly better. Or commit to my plan still of pushing and then being able to nuzzle my king onto e4. But I decide to go for activity, and I think this is a very big mistake. Even though the computer doesn't hate it, they do say it's a mistake. I thought I could play here and own the file. Obviously, if he then plays here, I don't have this move because then he does have, he can slide over and move on through. Although maybe it still works in that position because it takes him a turn to kind of get over there. And then I would maybe move here, and then he can play over there, and then he trades, and then I trade, and those lines of attacking this pawn. I should have considered that a little bit more. Anyway, I went for the active open file because I thought that if he moves his like bishop over here, that I could run my king in, and because this is a light square, I could just sit on d1 with my king, and I'd be the one active with my rook. So I'm going for the win here, basically. Now that's what I thought. Logic, though, is that I made a bad move. Obviously, bishop b4 comes in. Knew it was going to happen. And now this is where I think. And unfortunately, I blunder. Because going for the activity is really bad when I need it to be able to defend the pawn. It's very important. I need to play c4, and obviously if he then, pins or something, I can, I need to not get stuck there. I would actually just probably have to move the knight, probably to e5. It's a really good square. But in my delusions of grandeur, I play rook c8 first. And my thinking was, now I'm going to play the knight here. I thought that maybe I'm still blockading the square, like if I can, run with my king. And life is good. Unfortunately, life is not good. Life is not good at all. And this is what happens. He then plays king g7, which is the best move, and it makes sense. Like, he's no more checks. And I obviously play knight to c4. It's only move. It's pretty obvious. Makes sense. But unfortunately, as soon as I play this, his plan becomes very apparent, where he now plays d3. And I think to myself, oh shit, I am blocked from coming in with my king because I can't go to e1 because his bishop is taking that away. I can't go to e2 because his pawn is taking away. And if I ever run up here, he just pushes anyway, and I'm going to have to sack the knight for a pawn. So I realized in this position, I screwed myself. Absolutely screwed myself. And I now start to think, I'm lost. And I'm not necessarily lost. Apparently, if I play knight e3, that maybe it's holdable. I mean, how is that looking? Not good. Not good. Knight e3. Yeah. I do play 93. For the record, I do play 93. Okay, so I saw that that's the only thing that's kind of holding it together. I wanted to be a hero and like play here, but then I thought he could just push. And I was looking for all kinds of other ideas, like getting over there, but I can't quite come in. I thought if I basically put the knight somehow on d5 in this position, then it's cut off. Then if he pushes, I can run in with my king, and obviously he can never queen because I'm taking it away with my king. But unfortunately, I'm a turn too slow, and it was this move that did it to me without having my rook. Because if I could have my rook on d1, I'm in good shape. So d3 is played. I play the only move, which is knight to e3, and this position, which is funny, is this is the first time where I regretted now having all of these on light squares, because obviously he can like take or whatever, because he comes in with bishop d2, and I realized that this is really bad for me. And the reason it's really bad for me, obviously, is that I can't ignore it, because if he takes and takes, he's going to just queen. I can just resign at that point. So I think, all right, do I have a hero, a hero superpower over there by checking his king, and then I say no, he like kind of comes up, and maybe I get another check, and maybe I have this attack if he moves there with like tempo, but I thought it petered out pretty quickly. I needed to find this move, knight f1, attacking the bishop, kind of forcing him away, and just kind of grip down and bear down. I think if I played knight f1, he would take and I would take. I think. Oh no, what am I talking about? I'm attacking that directly. Huh. Maybe he would play here. Well, I'm going to show you what I did. I thought that maybe, I'm still okay. But this is kind of where I lost the game. I play knight to d5. Thinking again, I'm kind of shutting it down. I'm going to take this call.